There's nothing like sitting on a nice front porch. And in historic Spring City, not only can you sit on the same porch where pioneers relaxed more than a century ago, you can also walk through the homes of yesteryear, where traditions were built to stand the test of time.
The Mormon pioneers that came to Utah Territory, they had an eye for beautiful line and design, and they built these homes that are so lovely and are really worth preserving today. The entire town of Spring City is on the National Historic Register. And the only other town in the United States that has that is Colonial Williamsburg. And of course, our town is really very different. All the homes in Spring City are privately owned. In Spring City, it's a living, breathing, functioning town, and it is a lot of work to restore one of these old houses. But these old houses have so much charm and character. Spring City Heritage Day always happens the Saturday before Memorial Day. And this core group of the Friends of Historic Spring City started this event to earn funds toward historic preservation here in Spring City.
And the idea took off. Spring City hosts an art auction featuring local artists whose inspiration is drawn from the picturesque landscapes of Sanpete County. Self-led home tours through public buildings and private homes spark the interest of curious onlookers who discover and marvel at the restored past.
Spring City Heritage Day usually welcomes about 1,500 people. I mean, in a house like mine, maybe even 700 of them will come tromping right through my house. And it is a big day.
But it's all worth it for homeowners like Allison Anderson, who are members of Friends of Historic Spring City. Allison opens her home to visitors wanting to step back in time and imagine the lives of those who lived here.
This house has kind of a fun story. The house was built by the territorial judge, Judge Jacob Johnson, and he built the southern side of the house first, about 1868. And there was also a really cute small stone building behind the guest house, and that was a granary. When we're feeling really fancy, we call it the granary. It was used for grain storage, and the transactions, when people would come and purchase some grain from the Young Men's Co-op, they would write the math on the door, and we've kept the door so the math transactions are still on there.
We love Heritage Day. My wife and I we've always been big fans of historic architecture. We enjoy historic homes and stuff, and so sometimes when you go out on walks and stuff like that, you kind of walk by a particularly beautiful old home and maybe there's lights on inside and you kind of try to see if you can maybe see a little of the millwork or something like that. And so it's just great to be able to go in and and to really actually get a close look at these beautiful homes and the amazing things that people have done to restore them.
Brian and Ann Stuckey moved to this sleepy town in central Utah after buying a home that was built in 1887. With a growing family, this small pioneer home with only one bathroom was in need of a few updates. But the Stuckeys were committed to preserving the character and history of their home.
Before we moved in, Brian refinished the floors. In the kitchen, in the original floor where the fireplace was, there's tons of burn marks on the ground, which I was like, what small child maybe almost burned down the house when they were cooking for mom or something. This is considered a 1.5-story parlor home. This is the original exterior of the home. This exterior stone was covered up before Brian started our addition process. It was just drywalled, and he loved ripping it off and seeing the stone. There probably hadn't been viewed for maybe 50 or 60 years. And in the stone, I love seeing there's hand chisel marks, like someone did this by hand. But we love being part of the history here. People were born here and people have died here.
The idea of choosing a place and investing in a place and I don't know, having a kind of almost fidelity to a place is something that I really like the idea of. The Larson family lived in this home from the 30s until 2007. Everybody knows this is Donna Larson's house. People aren't so worried about the numerical address, but we're probably gonna have to die here, and then our children might also have to die here, and then it might be the Stuckey's house, possibly. But I think that's pretty fair considering how long the Larsons were here.
One thing that is wonderful that happens on Heritage Day is what happened to us and what happened to the Sloans, and that is people get kind of bit by what is charming.
No, I'm a move-in.
They like the art, they like the fact that it feels so different than being in a more populated area.
We heard about Spring City, came down on a Heritage Day and toured through the homes and, of course, fell in love, as so many people do.
Marta Sloan's family set out to build their own pioneer home in the style and tradition of their neighbors.
So we kind of took different elements of all of these homes that we had toured on the Heritage Days tour. The pediments over the windows, the casings, and kind of the architectural details. We wanted to make sure that we were fitting in with the beautiful, beautiful architecture that's here already. I find with Spring City, people are drawn here for different reasons. Some come because of the art, and some come for the peace and quiet. To me, it's the experience, the history here. It's the people that settled it in the first place, and then the people that have come here and lovingly restored these beautiful homes and just made such a haven here.
When you have preserved a historic home, you have really done something that counts. You can kind of die and know that you have at least accomplished one thing that will remain possibly for another 100 years or longer. And that is really something. There aren't very many things that we put that much time or money or energy into that really are that worthwhile.
This is Utah is made possible in part by the George S. and Dolores Story Eccles Foundation, the Utah Office of Tourism, the Lawrence T. and Janet T. D. Foundation, and the contributing members of KUED. Thank you.